Hi, I'm Lauren.
I'm Brent.
I'm Audrey, and this is Only Child Energy, and we're back yet again, and it's time for our favorite mid-2000s show, Glee. Anyway, if you don't know what Glee is, then you probably were not a theater kid, but it was essentially about teens in a Glee club.
Being teens.
Yeah. About a failing Glee club, and they sang songs in between. So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So buckle up.
Absolutely. And if you like our kind of content, you should subscribe. You should leave comments. Share it with your grandmothers.
Click the link in the doobly doo.
Which we still don't know what that means.
Do not share it with your grandma.
I was like, why did no one react to that comment?
I thought it, but I was like, let's keep going. Anyway, to start this episode, I came up with a game of who sang this Glee song.
Title sequence.
I remember so little of this show.
It's fine.
I'll win.
I have some songs here. Ignore my broken phone case. Anyway, I'm getting a new one. Don't talk about it.
We won't perceive it.
I have 5 Glee songs.
Okay.
And then I will tell you the title and who the original person who sang, like the artist, and then give you 3 options
as to who sang it in the show.
Yes. Okay. Lose My Breath by Destiny's Child. Was it the Unholy Trinity? So Quinn, Santana, Brittany. Was it Mercedes, Santana, or Brittany? Or Myron, the weird kid they'd introduced in the last season?
So how should we do this? Like, should we lock in an answer and tell you?
Lock in an answer, and then I'll tell you if you're correct.
I feel like it has Brittany in it.
I don't remember. Why am I thinking Weird Myron Kid? I think that's going to be my guess, but I think you should do a different one. I think
it's got Brittany, but I don't know if it's the Unholy Trinity. That's what I was picking.
Yeah.
No.
Like, if it's one of them, I think it's the B.
I think it's B.
Okay.
I think it's B.
I'm gonna go with Myron.
You're going with Mercedes, Santana, and Brittany.
Yeah.
Brenda's correct. It was Myron. I would also like to point out that is a song sung by 3 women about essentially how good men are at sex, and a 13-year-old boy sang that. So
classic Glee.
That's very on
that's the thing is you have to think about what's not correct, and they probably did it.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Did you watch the spin-off show?
The Glee Project?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
We can do a full episode of the Glee Project.
Oh, I watched that religiously.
Okay, number 2, Hung Up, sung by Madonna. Was that Quinn, Tina, or Kitty?
They all would be chosen to sing this one. So it's Madonna. I'm trying to think of Madonna episode. I think that it's Quinn also, or Kitty. I'm getting bitchy cheerleader.
I think it's Quinn.
Just to be different, I'll go Kitty.
You're both wrong. It was Tina.
What?
This was after she was rejected by Blaine because she had a crush on him, and she sang it on the steps.
That's on brand.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. We love that for her.
Good job.
We don't love the vapor rub for her, if you remember. Anyway, we'll get to that.
The Climb by Miley Cyrus.
I know this one. It's Leah Michelle using her bad singing voice because they thought it was funny.
Yes. I did put that in because I figured you'd look at its very popular video.
It's so funny.
Both just went.
We know this. What were your choices you were going to give us?
Tina, Mercedes, or Rachel.
Yeah. That's just that is one of my favorite parts of the show. That small moment. Anyway.
Okay.
I got one.
So 2-1. Didn't see anything.
Number 4, I'm Still Standing by Elton John.
I'll let Lauren have a guess because I do know
that
this one.
Kurt, Finn and Rachel, or Quinn and Artie?
Quinn and Artie?
It was Quinn and Artie. Just, this happens after her accident where she's in a wheelchair for 3 episodes and they sing this in wheelchairs.
Yes.
Bravo, Ryan Murphy.
Problematic.
This is the
I think
last.
that's like throughout the whole episode that we're doing.
Yes. This is the last one.
Okay.
It's not right, but it's okay. Sung by Whitney Houston. Is that Rachel, Santana, or Blaine?
Oh, it's not Rachel.
Mm-mm. I think it's Blaine.
I think it's Blaine.
It is Blaine because it's one of my favorite songs, and it's after Kurt like cheats on him by like flirting with some random man he met at a music store. Even though Blaine actually cheated, but you know that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. No,
it's better than I
did
thought.
Much better. That was 3 of 5.
Yeah.
You only missed 2. I only missed 1.
Yeah.
Okay, that was great, guys. Good job, team.
How many did you all get right in the comments? Let us know.
Yes.
Getting that engagement.
All right, Glee, a cultural phenomenon. In 2009, I was a junior in high school.
Is that when it came out?
It did.
It did. I was about to be in show choir, so it was very popular in my circles.
I know it was in. It came out when I was in middle school.
Gross.
Yeah.
I'm so used
So
the young one of the group.
Anyway, we'll start a positive note by talking about our favorites of Glee.
Okay.
So we'll start since we just finished talking about songs. What were some of our favorite Glee songs?
So, okay. General concept, their mashups from season 1 almost always were great. But my favorite mashup of all time is when they do it's Santana and Mercedes, and they do Rumor Has It, Someone Like You by Adele. It's so good.
That is good.
So that's probably that's the one I still listen to most regularly.
The one that does live rent free in my mind is Say a Little Prayer for You.
It's iconic. The choreo.
And it's the fact that it came back on TikTok and I was like, yes! We should do that.
And it's also the
intensity in your eyes was great.
You all see the TikTok on it. We'll know someone got their way.
I'm just saying us in Footloose costumes.
Doing the same prayer. I could see it.
Also Losing My Religion.
Is that Finn that sings that?
Yeah.
Is that on the grilled cheese?
Yeah. And that's why it's one of my favorites.
Does a character see Jesus in a piece of grilled cheese? Yes.
I do like, and mainly is because of Jonathan Groff. I do like when he and Leah Michelle sing "Rolling in the Deep."
That's good.
Yeah,
that is good. Yeah. And we'll get into like my favorite episode. I love the regionals episode, and so I like all of their journey stuff before they sing "Don't Stop Believing" 27 times,
and then literally every show choir. The show choir, one of the 2 show choirs we had in my high school, they practiced that for a talent show. It was like after a concert. It was during. They were like, they're gonna sing this, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
No, mine is no on that one because I'm traumatized by it. By how many times my show choir did it once I got to high school. Also, a weird drama club skit. Can you guess what part I played?
Rachel Berry.
Yeah.
Can you guess what part I played in my skit?
I was going to say a jokingly thing of Tina.
Yeah, guess who I played in my Glee skit? Audrey knows, so you can't say. It won't be the first choice you would guess.
I was going to say, like, Finn.
It was Finn. I did.
Yeah, but it's only because you said it's not going to be your first choice. Yeah. Yeah, no, we did that Journey song for Drama Club. Golly, we were weird theater kids.
I mean, weren't we all?
Yeah, true.
Let's see. I feel like I loved, and I still listen to it, River Deep Mountain High, sung by Santana and Mercedes. I would like to point this out. Amber Riley, if you're listening, I do love you. I do hope that you get your well-deserved Tony.
We all do.
And I hope you're doing well. It seems like you're doing great. So go in peace.
Establishing your friendship. I love this.
Yeah.
I love that previous episode. She annihilated friendships in this one. She's like,
but Amber Riley.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
I did relate to Mercedes. Speaking of, my favorite couple was Sam and Mercedes, because I was like, I'll find my Sam one day. Did I? I didn't.
Not yet.
You ate those grapes under that table.
It's not. It's March and nothing
This table.
happened.
It was under this
Was it
table.
really was?
Imagine, okay, so this table is not very high. Imagine both of us, grown adults in our 30s, on New Year's, underneath this table eating grapes to find love. If that doesn't work, nothing will.
Now imagine the invitation for me and my spouse to come and watch this on New Year's Eve, which we did not.
Well, it's fine. It's whatever. But do you
Yeah,
have
they're-
any other favorite Glee couples?
Well,
Even the random ones I have, and you're like, why?
here's the thing. I think this is not what happened on this show. I think that Blaine should have ended up with Sebastian. Do you remember Sebastian? He was like the
Grant
Grant
Gustin?
Gustin from the Flash. When he was
Oh, yes.
they had such good chemistry. They were more compatible. I don't think that Blaine and Kurt work out. Doesn't make sense. to me.
Controversial opinion. If you don't agree with, Brent, then harass him on your own time.
Yeah, please don't do that. But okay. But the one I will say from the show, I did like Brittany and Santana. I think that relationship did a lot for TV. But you don't like them?
No, yes.
Okay. Yeah. They're just cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like them. Yeah.
Their favorite episodes, favorite.
I think I said my favorite episode was regionals. Like just the drama of like Leah Michelle coming out and actually sectionals first when she sings "Don't Rain on My Parade." That's an iconic. It's so good. You can't we could talk about Leah Michelle and her
Later.
but like that moment is just so iconic.
Yeah.
And then like the regionals, her and Finn's duet, their accidental makeout on stage that loses them regionals. It's so.
Doesn't Quinn have a baby?
She has the baby while Jonathan Groff is singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Like you can't make this up.
They did, and it was
They did.
It was so good, so good. I think those are some of my favorites.
Do I have a favorite? I always remember the ones I'm like, what was this?
Me with losing my religion. Why is that the one that lives rent free?
And I mean, I guess also I will say, you go.
Whenever Leah Michelle makes the music, Rachel makes the music video, but uses all Street Boys.
Oh, Run Joey Run.
Yes.
I won't sing it because I don't want this video to get flagged for my great singing of Run Joey Run. But that song is because that was like the Bad Songs Made Good episode.
Yay!
I thought that was so good.
And the fact that she put all three boys in iconic behavior.
Honestly.
I do like going back to songs. I do like Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I do think also though that the pilot is just a very good episode of television. Like I think because that at the pilot stage, yes, there were edgier things that probably wouldn't land now. I just think it still cohesively works really well versus like season 4 or 5 don't work.
They fell off, but the pilot episode in that whole first season, the amount of people talking about it, the phenomenon, and like from one episode that they established. I mean, you can't do that now with all the streaming services. There's also something about that.
Yeah.
But the buzz.
Because they if I remember right, I might be wrong, correct me in the comments. I feel like they dropped the pilot and then there was a couple months and like they didn't know how it was going to do and they were filming their next ones and then it became a phenomenon. They were like all overnight celebrities from that show because none of them were really established except like Jane Lynch, Matthew Morrison a little bit.
But the rest of the people, they got famous people later to come onto the show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they were,
because it was so established. And like I guess a general good thing of the show too, somehow they were very good at predicting music trends. Because every time episodes came out, that song was popular, which meant they filmed it months in advance. So like that ability that's wild to me. That's so wild to me.
Also, just really quick, a little the television of that time. You had Pretty Little Liars.
Iconic.
Like going on at the same time as like you had stuff to come to school with to discuss.
Absolutely.
Water cooler talk, school math class talk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That was a good. And you can't do that now because everybody watches different things on streaming services. But like you had very limited options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that because it's kind of like the closest era that TV had to like live theater experience,
Yes.
Where it's like it was an experience that you would sit down and you'd watch every week.
I remember like going over to my friend's house to watch it to be like, oh, it's on tonight. We're gonna and like getting special permission because it was a school night, but having to be like, it's the season finale.
I have to know who A is.
And you never found out.
The number of times that this is such a detour, but that Pretty Little Liars would advertise revealing A, and they only do it 3 times in the entire show. So that was a lot of promos that did not come to fruition, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Was I invested?
If you would like a Pretty Little Liars episode, Brent can host that. He made me watch like 4 episodes. I've not seen it thus far.
We can also read the book.
I've read all of them multiple times.
Anyway, back to
Glee.
Back to Glee.
We're gonna discuss
And that's
that
what we missed
later.
on Glee. Anyway.
Now to get into the not so things, a section I like to call Why Glee Why. I would like to start off the episode with my least favorite episode.
Yes.
Which is when Tina hits her head in the mall fountain, and then she is Rachel. And then the takeaway from that episode is that, wow, Rachel really does have a hard life, because I was like, no, it's the fault of this is a rant. This is the fault of Mr. Chu for putting the entirety of this like responsibility of this show choir on this one girl, and her being like, you guys would never do anything could never do anything without me. You would fail without me, which is not true. Okay. They were all very talented. Also, they had Mercedes. So sit down, touch grass. Okay. Anyway, but then, but also just, I mean, I do also love that episode because then you had like Kurt being Finn, and Finn and being Kurt, Blaine being Puck. It was just wild. The wigs were crazy. Artie wearing the Santana ponytail.
Yeah, there were some moments there.
But again, the takeaway is, because mind you, it was the reason that Tina was at the mall. We're still ranting about this. The reason Tina was at the mall was because Tina made the costumes, and so she was grabbing fabric, and she tripped and hit her head in the fountain. So maybe we wouldn't be anywhere without Tina, because you'd be naked. So
that's a different
she dressed
episode.
them. Yeah. Which they got to anyway.
Why is the fabric store in the mall?
There are fabric stores in malls.
No, there's not.
Maybe in Ohio.
There's no Joann's in the mall.
Maybe they have one. That's not the point. The point is that
that's the hill I die on.
The point is that they were like, yeah, Rachel Berry is the sole survivor of this Glee show.
Do we think that she had a say in that plot line?
Like the actress who played Tina?
No.
Or Leah Michelle?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a very Leah Michelle thing to do.
Well, because I know, like, in listening to like Jenna Ushkowitz and Kevin McHale's podcasts, that by a certain point they kind of forgot about those two characters, and every now and then would give them big episodes, such as Tina hitting her head in a fountain. So I think it was kind of that. They were like, oh yeah, we have this really talented actress who can actually do some cool things. Maybe let's give her some spotlight. They kind of whiffed it.
She did do the Leah Michelle faces when she was singing.
Yeah.
But yes, that is one of my least favorite episodes.
Okay, so my least favorite, like you were saying earlier, Lauren, I think early seasons, they handled serious topics, but they weren't trying to, and so it felt very natural. But later on, especially once you get the new Glee Club kids, it was like every episode was like an after-school special, right?
Yeah.
So my least favorite was the school shooting episode. It is deeply problematic for so many reasons.
Yes. Isn't that when, what's his name? The guy that was fake Finn.
Yeah.
Where he revealed that he got assaulted by a babysitter.
Yeah.
And then when the men in the room found out that it was a woman, they were like, oh, well, that's chill. And it's like, no. That's not chill. He was like 12.
Yeah. There was that. There was the kind of genderqueer character who was in love with him, and you find it out in the episode, and then they bully him. They bully them for that. Then there's all of them filming their dying goodbyes, and it's really serious, but it was made to be kind of melodrama, so it didn't feel authentic. And then they have a character with Down syndrome who is the person who had the gun in the school, and so they make it that she did this. It was so many layers of bad, and all this is happening while legit school shootings are going on, and it's a big.
That was yeah.
So it was just it was such an inappropriate use of that content.
Ugly. The amount of times though that it is inappropriate.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my least favorite episode.
I just thought of another favorite one. That's not helpful.
Introduce it.
Share your thoughts.
The
about-
Rocky Horror episode. Just
Oh.
because I like the touch me song that she does.
Yeah.
Mm.
But then that leads me to like, I don't know if you're gonna ask like problematic characters or things,
Oh yes,
which
Mr.
is Mr.
Chu.
Shoe. Everything that they and again, it's I hate that people like blame Matthew Morrison because he was following his scripts. He was
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's not Matthew Morrison's fault. It is. I was like, because I am a person that can separate the character from like the person. Like, for example, like Jacob Elordi plays Nate Jacobs in Euphoria. Nate Jacobs, a terrible piece of trash. Jacob Elordi, beautiful human. So I can separate that. Just like Matthew Morrison, seems like an okay man.
Yeah.
Mr. Shu sang the thong song, taught his kids how to twerk.
Sexually danced with them multiple times.
Oh yeah, they like I feel like was that to impress Emma too?
Oh, usually.
I was like, no. It's just like, ugh.
Remember the "Don't Stand So Close to Me" episode?
Yeah, early in season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I do think about that one a lot because that was also the time of the student professor.
Yeah.
Once again, why Glee? Why are you making an episode out of that? But also Pretty Live.
Yeah.
Everybody,
No one really handled that well back then.
everybody was doing it. Like that was the
Mhm.
episode on TV.
And then like if you remember that episode, like what was Will's wife's name?
Terry.
Terry. Yes. When she finds out about this, her reaction is not normal. Her reaction is to have Rachel clean their apartment and cook for them. Do you remember this? She just like employs Rachel. She's like, it's cute, it's fine. She made us this really delicious meal. Like,
Yes.
I
Also, you know, Terry, his wife, faking a pregnancy, trying to essentially buy Quinn's baby.
yeah. Although I will say, see, that is different for me. Like that's because the show viewed that as problematic.
Yeah.
So I loved it. It's like the unintentional problematic
Yeah.
stuff. And even some of those things, I think like the school shooting episode as an example, I thought it was problematic at the time.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like it's aged poorly.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of choices they made that like were not even okay then.
Oh, yes. Now, it's because I was thinking about, I have two least favorite songs. One, speaking of problematic, that was when like Gangnam Style was popular. So they made Tina sing it. And I feel like Mike Chang was also next to her dancing.
Absolutely was.
That's how it's brand for them.
Yeah. It's
And
brand,
then-
brand.
There was one mashup that I remember getting up from my apartment at the time and walking to my room because I was offended by it. And that was the Turkey Lurkey time. Let's have a kiki with all the drag queens and Sarah Jessica Parker. And I'm calling you out, Sarah Jessica Parker. Why would you do that? I know it's not your fault, but I was just like, what's a thing that's terrible to introduce to the world? And it's let's have a kiki / Turkey Lurkey time. What? I did. I got up. I was like, no. And I got up.
Did they bring it back in the New York episode, or is that the
Well, so it was in New York.
Okay, I can't remember. I was like, for some reason, I didn't think the turkey
Yeah,
was
no,
with that.
it was.
was.
I think I just blacked out after that.
Like I feel like it's like a fever dream of them walking around. Also, just insert Kurt and Rachel's New York huge Brooklyn apartment.
That
No.
they owned. I was like,
Yeah,
were her dad's rich? Like what?
might have been, but yeah, I didn't love that. I didn't love lots of things that they have Kurt sing that are not meant for Kurt's voice. I don't think I have specifics now, but like there's just I think that they didn't always assign the right person the songs.
I feel like that is okay. That's Glee iconic behavior, but also my high school music teacher who did the show choir. Also, her iconic behavior of just picking songs in these mashups that were always Glee mashups
Yeah.
for the wrong people. I don't
Yeah.
know how that translated over to the music
Mm-hmm.
teacher sphere, but they
Yeah.
did that too. And it's like they were trying to be like Glee of like, oh, let's give like it doesn't match, so
We should
let's
do that.
yeah.
But
and
then it
it's
just
like,
makes them sound bad.
Yeah.
nobody sounded good.
Mhm. Versus like there were sometimes like I'm thinking when like Kurt's dad was in the hospital and he's saying I want to hold your hand by the Beatles, that was a really interesting choice for him to sing and it was good.
Yeah.
But like other times like him singing like him or Rachel Berry singing pop songs.
Yes.
Not the fit. When you have like
When-
a Mercedes.
Yes, there's
Or
Mercedes and Kurt when they joined the Cheerios song 4 minutes by Madonna, like Timbaland and Justin Timberlake. Mercedes could have done that by herself. Again, Amber Riley, we could be friends. I mean, let's connect. Anyway. And
Let's address Amber Riley.
This podcast is
We'll get her tickets to our show.
yes, but
And Ryan McCartan too, while
Yes.
we're at it.
No offense to Chris Colfer. You seem to be doing great. I do shelve your books a lot at the library I work at. But it just didn't. It could have been Santana. I was saying if we wanted that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't need to add further.
No,
captured it
you got it. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, going back to Tina being into Blaine, there was a brief moment when Blaine kissed Rachel and he was like, "Minute into girls." And then they were like, "No, that's wrong." High school Audrey was also like, "No, you're gay. That's the only thing you can be."
Yeah.
Adult Audrey knows that that's not accurate, but also like, Rachel Berry is not for you.
Don't just imagine Blaine with Rachel Berry. Like that would, I mean, they would have some like beautifully talented children. That's about all I can say for that relationship. You would be seeing men on the DL.
But
I don't think that that relationship would last. Or
No.
they would still be married, but
Yes.
living very different lives.
But
Yes.
at least it would make sense for Tina to be into Blaine if Blaine was bisexual. Instead, we just made Tina look even more sad than she already was.
Were there any bisexual characters in Glee?
Brittany. That is
That's right. Okay, but
they made
the,
fun of
the
it.
way that they handled that was not.
absolutely. And I'm pretty sure that there were moments where Santana questioned Brittany's bisexuality and things like
I was
that.
gonna say, doesn't it? I don't think it ended with that. I think it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure. But yeah, she is the only character that dated people of all genders, I think.
Yeah.
That I can remember.
But they kind of. I don't know. The way that they personified her was very airy and not
Until
real.
she became an astrophysicist or whatever she was.
Yeah. That did come out of nowhere.
I was like, oh, she's smart all of a sudden. I mean, she probably was smart, but there's like
Yeah.
a difference between being like just like regular smart and oh, she's a genius.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I would argue with that one. As a woman who was, you make yourself dumber in high school to have friends.
That's true.
Like-
I would have liked more breadcrumbs from her as
Yes,
a character.
Yeah, but I don't know because like I feel like somebody like on the outside also would like. I feel like a lot of people were shocked when I was like, I'm gonna go be a physicist. Like I was like, this was like my
Fair.
like, yeah, I was a straight A student, but like I would play off ditzier than I was to
Yeah.
have friends.
I mean, yes, but the way they wrote
Yeah,
her, it
yeah.
made her seem like
Yeah.
she couldn't read. Which,
Yeah,
speaking of
yeah.
couldn't read, let's talk about Leah.
What a segue.
Yes, I'm sure you can read Leah Michelle. I'm sorry.
No, but I do think it's really funny to watch you defend it. I'm so sorry because the way that you defend it does not make anybody believe it. You should just never address
Oh,
it.
man.
It's the way that you've gone on talk shows. She goes, "Oh my gosh, it's so funny." I love that we think she's gonna see this. Maybe Michelle's not watching this.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
Maybe she
okay.
does. Maybe she does Google herself though.
Maybe I would.
I would. She just likes to see what's new. Okay, then I don't want to offend Leah Michelle because like
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, Rachel Berry, Leah Michelle, almost one and the same to an extent.
that is the one. Okay, you know how you talked about I could separate the person from the character. I can't separate those two.
I think that they inform each other in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like I mean, obviously I don't know her as a human for
Yes.
real. But I've noticed like the ways that her character matured are ways that I think she wants to present that she is matured. If that makes sense.
I also like I do know like things have been said
Yeah.
and all the like and so like you have to but I also always kind of wonder we're very harsh on women.
Absolutely.
We're
true.
very hard. So like everything I'm always like but if this were a man, you would not be as critical about this behavior.
Yeah.
So there's like a give and a take. Like I do think she's problematic. I think she's learning from it, but I'm also like we would let men get away with way worse
Well, and
in this industry.
I can hear that. I think what I've said to you before, Audrey, is like whether or not her behavior is bad is actually not what I'm the most concerned about. I'm more concerned that if that behavior was true, that no one on the production side stopped it.
Yeah.
Because they had a duty to.
Yeah.
Also, like they were all young when they started.
Yeah.
Not excusing anything, but like that was the point where they should have been taught or told what to do. And that couldn't have happened.
Especially with like it, I think it also ties back to the sudden stardom.
Yeah.
To have sudden stardom at such a young, they were adults, but they were still young.
Yeah.
I think
They're like young by Hollywood.
Yeah.
So,
I think that would mess with you. And there were a lot of things that happened.
So many things.
So like I think messes with you, and then to have the spotlight on you, I think there's a lot of nuance that nobody will really understand unless they were in it.
Yeah.
But I try not to be so hard on women all the time because I always want to give it like I don't want to hop on the bandwagon. So once again, we all hopped on the bandwagon for hating Kristen Stewart, and I don't think that anybody should have hated her ever.
I didn't like Kristen Stewart because she cheated. I just didn't like her awkwardness. It was too much for me.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we were a generation that hated that woman for not smiling.
It wasn't because she didn't smile. I don't smile. It was just I was like, it was just her awkward body movements. But now that she's like, yeah, I'm a lesbian, and she's like more comfortable with herself, I'm like, okay, your awkwardness makes sense. But I was like, I just can't, you know. But anyway,
which is why we can't look at, like that's why I just like I have a hard time being like, this is a horrible person. When I'm like,
I'd like to say I don't think Leah Michelle is a horrible person, nor did I think Rachel Berry is a horrible person. It's back to again, Mr. Shu, and even on like this, like the backstage being like, you're the star, you are important. And it's like, cool, but you know, maybe let's not put this much pressure on her and also make everyone who is equally as talented feel like garbage. Like there's an episode where they're like practicing, and this is like before Mercedes joins Adele Nazim in her Idina Menzel in her like own like girl show choir, and they're like, why are you practicing? She's like, I don't feel good. And she's like, where's Rachel? And everyone's like, well, Rachel practices. And I was like, I would like to say, if you are as dedicated as you say you are, then you would lead by example and practice with the rest of your Glee cast. Also, I think they were dancing. And over to Leah Michelle, I don't remember her being like a fantastic dancer.
I think she's like a mover.
Yeah. So like she should have also been practicing with the rest of the people. Like what? And then they got mad at her. So was that racism? Maybe. I'm saying that it was.
I have something.
Yes.
This just made me think of this. What do we think the impact of Glee on like, because like we've talked about this in like the theater community of like people being obsessed with like I have to be the lead, or like it reflects on like my abilities. But like in Glee, really, that was like a key thing that got drilled in was like, if you are the lead, you are the best. Leah Michelle is the lead because she is the best. But there were so many talented people. And like, I think that that's trickled in to how like a lot of the theater, like, especially I would say the younger generation. I think our generation still had the thing of like, there are no small parts, only small actors. And like, you grow up going like, am I good for this part? There's this recognition of like, am I good for this part? But Glee made it competitive.
I think that that's fair. Because I feel like I had to do some unlearning with the competitiveness factor. Like, I think in high school, I thought it was a competition. Like, you were trying to be the best person because that's kind of what Glee did.
And it was your ranking. Like, how
Abby
good
Lee
you
Miller.
were.
Yeah.
But I think, like, that whole thing, like, they were really pushing that. And it was really problematic. And now theater as a whole is kind of having to unlearn that of, like, your ranking is not based on... It's based on your performance and what part fits you.
Yeah, because especially when there were things where it was like someone like a Mercedes, someone like Santana should have sung this and did not be like Leah Michelle, like Quinn, or like essentially any of the white women. No offense to the white women out there, but you've had your day. So
Well, it's like, what do I say to this?
You're not wrong. Like,
No.
but that's, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do think that like culturally really solidified. There was a shift there.
Yeah. Well, I think too, the thing with Glee, like that, like we talked about already in terms of its impact and such, is it was predicting the times in lots of ways. So I think it partially reflected what was already out there
Yeah.
and probably emphasized it to a mass audience
It
that might not have known.
amplified it.
Because I think theater has been that competitive, and I think that it like fed it each other. Does that
It
make
did,
sense?
and I do think so, but I don't know. But I also like I was doing theater before Glee,
Mm-hmm.
and I there were a lot more. Just like this is just like it was just in my memory of like people not going out for auditions to get the lead, going out to get a part that fit them. Like they were like, I want this part because it fits me. And I remember that. And I remember that community. There was more of a community of an understanding of like, oh, so-and-so is going to get that because they're really good at this voice or they have this sound.
Yeah.
Whereas I did see a shift after Glee came out of like all or nothing.
Yeah. I mean, especially because like Rachel Berry got every part.
Yeah.
Even if the song was not a fit for her.
And that is not, but I think that's also trickled over into some directing too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, I've got one good, that's who I'm just going to, and
Cast
that's
is everything.
not,
Yeah.
you got to
It's
play
not
people.
helpful.
But I think that that's something toxic that I do think Glee contributed to.
Yeah. I think it's a part of the factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can blame that on Glee. I don't know. This is just, I'm just having this.
I mean, it probably did have some effect.
Yeah, one element of it.
Yes. I had one thought before we move on. It's like combines with like my favorite song, but also Why Glee Why. I love that Matt Bomer and Darren Criss sung Somebody That I Used to Know. However, that is a breakup song. And the episode, they're supposed to be brothers. Is it great? Yes. But
It
why?
sounds amazing.
It does. It is a song that I listen to this day. But I just think, why? Why, Glee? Why did you, if you wanted them to sing that together, or if you wanted that song to be sung and you wanted it to be blamed, then that means it'd be Kurt. But it's fine.
Yeah.
Still, why, Glee?
I love this rant. And I love that, like, I've heard it before and I kind of forgot about it. And I'm really glad that you brought it up on the podcast.
And now it's documented.
Yeah, I wanted it. Yeah, you're not wrong.
The world needs to know that was an
Yes.
interesting decision.
That was a bold choice, Glee.
Strong choice.
Strong choice.
That's politics. Strong choices, yay!
Yeah.
Do we have any other Glee thoughts before we get to a topic that we discuss often, which is if Glee were on now, what would they sing?
I don't know. I'm excited for the what would they sing
What
now
would they sing
on
now?
your list.
What-
Shocker.
Yes. Just to kick it off, I mean, they would clearly have a Taylor Swift episode. It would be called Eras.
Yes.
Yes.
You could see it on Mr. Shoe's board. Eras.
What
Choose
era
the
are
color.
you in?
Would he assign them? He would probably assign them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it would be whatever does not match.
Yes, absolutely.
Like he would give like, I don't know, Mercedes like Speak Now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not enough of a Swiftie to make comments on which era.
Even
to go
though-
where.
Even though I only know like a little bit of them. Even though Mercedes clearly should either have the Reputation era, it would be her and Mercedes, or her and
No,
Santana should have the Reputation
I
era.
think so too.
Although
But that's not.
which is in my list of things. Where's my list? Oh, there it is. Even though I think Tina should sing Look What You Made Me Do, because the thought of hearing her say, I can't pick up the phone. Old Tina can't pick up the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead? Feels iconic to me.
I feel like Jenna could like crush that also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I think, given current pop culture things, they would have done a Mean Girls episode.
That's what I was going to say. That's not even fair. And they were going to guest star Renee Rapp.
If they could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe Renee Rapp would be like a fan of Glee.
Yeah,
And
I
so
could
then
see
she would
that.
do it out of a favor. She would do it out of a favor to them.
She would. Okay, what are some things I think? Like, I think it depends on when in the show that the like Mean Girls episode would have happened. Like if it was like season 1 era, like you would have the Unholy Trinity would be the plastic.
Yeah.
But that's not the best fit because I really want to hear Mercedes sing World Burn
Oh.
so bad.
Oh.
Yes, and that could the episode is just like with her leaving the Glee Club, being like, yeah, it's my turn now.
And like they'd have a burn book, much like when like there was the Glee list, if you remember, of like hotness that Quinn did to make herself seem hotter. I think they would have a burn book. There would be a burn book plot. I think, okay, this is a funny one. So I think that like Rachel and Finn would sing Stupid with Love, like the stage version. I think that Kurt would sing like the movie version that was more indie and crappy. Like I could just see him singing like the wispier version of the song. Because they would do a reprise of it, and I think it would not be great. Not because of him. Again, the fit.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, they would also do a Heathers episode. If we're doing Mean Girls, they're doing
Heathers.
Absolutely.
I would love to see a Heathers episode. Riverdale, you did us dirty.
Mm-hmm. And I also, I have like I've already said that I really like ship Blaine and Sebastian as characters. I would love a version of Someone Gets Hurt that's like a duet with Blaine and Sebastian singing it. New interpretation of the moment. Or if Renee Rapp guest stars, she gets that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's one that I had. What else did you have, Audrey?
I would like Amber Riley to sing I'm Here from The Color Purple.
Yeah. I think that'd be great. Love that.
It would be a Blaine-centered episode, so we would have a Harry Styles episode where he could sing Sign of the Times while playing the piano.
Oh, that would be cool. And he might do one of his like live, because he did like that one Teenage Dream karaoke version when he tells Kurt that he cheated on him.
Yes.
He sang that live, and it sounds so good. It makes me emotional every time I think about that song, actually. Mm-hmm. I think they would probably do Vampire, given how popular that is now. Yes. And unfortunately, it would either be Rachel or Kurt. Kurt might sing Vampire. Just let that sink in. I feel like I'm coming out as a really strong Kurt hater. I love the character. I just think they misassign songs sometimes.
It's not sometimes.
90%.
It's most of the time.
I would like the song Unholy, which is sung by Sam Smith and Kim Petras, to be sung by Santana and Quinn.
Oh.
Okay. I love that. I
like that a lot.
Do you have anything come to mind for you, Lauren?
I was really hoping you weren't going to put this on me.
Okay, I'll do another one.
Because you took my Mean Girls and I got nothing else.
I would love if Santana sang Flowers. I think she could crush that song.
Ooh.
Like the rasp in her voice. She'd be great. I could see, depending on how much they were leaning into pop culture the past year, I could see a group number, Murder on the Dance Floor, but they don't reference the movie at all. They just do that.
It's just a huge group number.
I would love that.
I know. I think that'd be a good like end of episode, unrelated to what's going on, just like one of their like pop culture songs.
They're just like, we're just having a good time. We're just having a blast.
I think they would have a Dear Evan Hansen.
That would also be Blaine focus.
Absolutely.
Like something, yeah.
It'd be one of those like when they were doing West Side Story and Kurt really wanted to be Tony, and everyone's like no, but Kurt would also try to be Evan Hansen.
Yeah. And I think the thing about Blaine is that he was unlike Rachel, because obviously Blaine was supposed to be like the female version of Rachel, and Rachel was like, no, all this is mine. Blaine was always just like, okay. You can have this if you want this.
Absolutely.
A humble king, Yeah.
They'd probably do like, not necessarily like a Barbie influenced episode, but I think they do a lot of the songs from Barbie. I could see Rachel singing What Was I Made For? I think Lea Michele would actually crush that song.
Yes. And then again, Mercedes and Santana could sing Dance the Night Away.
Oh, that'd be fun.
They would do a Jimmy Buffett episode because he recently passed away.
They might.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
Everyone's wearing Hawaiian shirts.
And it's like they would do an a cappella slow version of like
Margaritaville.
Wasting the day away in Margaritaville. Wrong your face. You're not. That's not wrong, is it?
I mean, no, but also, ugh.
So they would pick the happiest song and make it dark.
somber. And
And
it'd
there'd
be
be snaps.
Yeah, and it'd be the start of the episode, and then it would go to Glee. No funny music. That's what they do.
It's like it's like when they did their like Whitney Houston
yes,
episode.
exactly.
But that was fine.
Oh yeah, that was great.
It would be like when one of them hit drinking age, but
Mm,
then something dark happened. They got in like a car crash or something.
they got a DUI or
Yeah.
something, and then it's ignored after 2 episodes.
Yeah.
They reference it the next step,
Yeah.
and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their favorite thing to do on Glee.
Yep.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on songs?
I'm really proud of my Jimmy Buffett one. Sorry.
That's a good one. You have any last ones, Audrey?
Just like in when they gave Kevin McHale a chance to get out of his wheelchair in an already inspired like dream when he sang Scream with Harry Shum Jr. because they were like, he can dance and he's not in a wheelchair, so we're gonna give him this opportunity. He'd probably sing a Bruno Mars song.
I can see it.
In a dream-like state so he could dance.
Yeah. Because Kevin McHale is a great dancer. It's
Yeah.
funny that they don't let. Like, it's
And-
an interesting choice.
And when he did do it in the wheelchair, it was always like just arms.
And could you imagine? That feels like really hard.
I'm so as a dancer, I'd be like,
Just like, okay, I don't know where my mind's going to this detour, but like when they had like the wheelchair number for sectionals, then another group steals a wheelchair number. Like, it's so weird. But that's great Glee, though.
that's
It captured some great moments for sure.
Glee.
Mhm.
You were great for the time, and you did produce some bops, but
True.
overall, why Glee? Why?
Why Glee? Why?
now I kind of want to watch Glee.
Honestly, hey, if y'all want us to do more Glee stuff, we could do like a, talking about the most iconic flop moments of Glee. We can do a lot
Like
of
the
things.
last season.
Okay, controversial take. The last season is not my least favorite. It's actually my top 3.
I
It
guess
is.
it is. I guess I do like the part of like, Leah Michelle. First of all, back to storylines don't make sense. She got a Broadway show, left her like essentially Juilliard school to pursue this because she was like, I'm better than this, which I don't think helped anyone who was like got into Juilliard and was just gonna think, oh, I'm gonna get into a Broadway show now. No.
Yeah.
And then got on a television show that flopped. So she did have a flop era.
Yeah, she
It was
did.
brief.
Mhm.
And then, so it wasn't terrible. But I think post season 3, because that was when like new
Yeah.
kids came on, with the exception of the like Corey Monteith tribute episode, which is very sad.
Oh, can't even speak to that one.
We're not
That's the episode-
going there.
That's the only episode I've only watched once because I couldn't handle it again.
But it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best.
Because I will say, like, one of my favorite episodes is actually the second to last episode because it's 2009 is what it's called, and they basically fill in scenes from the pilot,
Yeah.
and it shows like all of them together singing "Don't Stop Believing" at the very end of the episode, and that like hit me in my feels for sure. It was good stuff, and you get to see Corey Monteith again too, which is kind of nice for the end of the episode. We're ending on a real like uplifting note.
Yes. But anyway, before Lauren cries on camera,
It wouldn't be the first time. It won't be the last.
Yeah.
I'm a sensitive soul.
yes. They're there.
No, let me just show you the hand gesture was
Another summary
much
of
care.
Audrey and I's fish.
We
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed this Glee-tastic episode. Come back for next week with who knows what we'll talk about. It's a surprise.
even to us. Kidding. We have a strategic plan. It's fine, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna discover it while getting Texas Roadhouse rolls, though.
Oh my gosh, yes. So we have to leave now. We have to leave.
We gotta go.
Okay, bye.
Bye.